Thank you. On September 28 last year, 160 people on board Batik Air 6231 survived the devastating earthquake that struck Palu Airport seconds after the plane took off. Because of a brave decision that Air Controller Antonius Gunwan Agung took to stay in the tower until the plane was safe. People on board survived. Antonius did not. On November 6, 1968, Shirley Chisholm became what the New York Times called the first Negro woman to be elected to the American Congress, because she took a brave decision to give up her nursery career and fight her unbossed campaign, and through this opened doors for generations of leaders to come. And within the last 36 months, sprinter Johannes Floors has won 6 gold medals and just recently broke the 100-meter men's world record, because when he was 16 and faced with leg pain and a life in a wheelchair, he took a brave decision, and that brave decision was to go for an amputation. In difficult times, it's the brave people that move us forward. Now, I'm sure you sit here at this conference and you think, so many brave people. Should I be brave? Does it matter? I mean, and many of you work in business, and you probably think, well, in business, should I be brave? Does it matter? Well, let me tell you this, the same rules apply. If you want to make change happen, if you want to drive a transformation, if you want to have a meaningful impact, there will be a moment when you will have to be brave. What's the biggest threat to the survival of companies, of organizations? What is it? Is it millennials changing consumer needs? No. Is it technology? No. Is it the trade wars? No, it's not. It's the silo. Here's a mind-blowing paradox. What's the one thing companies have to get right to survive? What's the one thing they have to get right to survive? Companies have to find profitable customers. It's pretty simple. Now, how come that most departments in companies don't have customer goals? And that instead of hiring people who love customers and who work with customers and who really do the great things for customers, often the fastest growing departments in firms are legal and compliance and procurement and CSR and all these things. People that all get their bonus even if the customers stop coming. And why do we have this paradox that the market is going faster and companies are going slower? Companies don't fail when the legal department is too small. Companies don't fail when the controlling team is out fishing. Companies don't fail when the mindfulness teacher is off sick. Companies fail when customers stop buying. It's pretty simple. And this couldn't have come at a better time. This is my headphone. I have a Sennheiser headphone, and I just recently realized that after a couple of months, it started to disintegrate. So I took to the service team of Sennheiser at Twitter and told them about the problem, and that's what they told me. I should contact another department, which is their service department. Now, what on earth do they believe would convince me to click on that link, go on that other website, fill this form, tell the entire story again, and upload another picture, instead of doing the obvious, which is ignore them next time I'm going to buy a device. I don't care about Sennheiser's department. I don't care who runs their 4P. I want 4Me. And here's the thing, if your firm is stuck in complexity, if your firm is losing it with customers, I mean, you have a choice you could make. You can wait for your CEO to fix it, you can play by the rules, you can wait for all the other departments to come in, or you could take brave action. You could get in there and do the right thing for customers and fight the system. Customer leaders need to be brave. Okay, this is a time and age when everybody talks about bravery. There are bravery conferences, There's a Brave browser. There's Brave beer. The question is, for you in businesses, in companies, in agencies, wherever you work, does bravery really matter for your success? Does it matter for business success, or is it just a great show? Well, brace yourself. Today, we are revealing the results from the largest ever study on brave customer leadership. Over the last 18 months, we have conducted indeed a massive study. And this is a big, big thank you to 1,281 leaders from over 60 countries. And a big thank you to the Marketing Society team, and a big thank you to the team of Kantar. We wanted to know what really, really, really is important for success. Is it personality? Is it skills and your knowledge? Is it brave leadership? Is it the company, or is it other things? So what do you think? Well, here are the results. Brave leadership could explain 44% of the business success we have observed in the people that took part in the study. 44%. That is big. The best people in the study, the most successful ones, they just didn't do great marketing or great HR or great finance or great sales. They were really, really brave in the actions they took. And you can take a lot of brave actions. You could stand up for things you believe in, things that you believe are important. You could have the strength to face issues and see them through. And you could also be fast. You could dare to go first. But here is the thing. This wasn't half of it, because here now comes the result that really made us sit up, that we did not expect. Do you always have to be brave? The data of our study did not say, you got to be brave and you'll be successful. It didn't say that. What it did say is, however, if you're not brave, you have a problem. If you are someone who discourages risk-taking, who is always compromising, focus on what works, always fitting in, if you're keeping issues to yourself all the time, if you're always sympathetic and warm, if you only focus on what you're best at, if you only prefer the familiar, or if you're just thinking a lot before you do anything, you will have significantly less business success. That is proven. Or in other words, when it comes to business, being cautious is risky. When's your moment? You can't be brave all the time. You can't be brave every single day. In fact, the air controller we saw earlier, Shirley Chisholm, Johannes Flores, they weren't brave every single day of their lives. They were brave in the moment when it really, really mattered. Now, in this room, we have some of the brightest minds of our industry, some of the brightest people. The people can make a real big difference. The question is, when's your moment? Let's think about technology. You're all aware there's brilliant technology out there that now helps us to understand people, to understand customers, to build these meaningful relationships that everybody talks about, to personalize, to do something that's relevant and meaningful. This is L'Occitane. It's one of the world's most successful retailers. They are opening new stores, they're adding new brands, they're growing profitably in a market where other people are just closing the doors. And their moment was a couple of years ago when they decided to become a marketing technology powerhouse. They use almost everything that's out there. Behavioral customer data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, very sophisticated email marketing. If you go into a store or if you go on a website and they know you are the person who wants that anti-aging lavender cream. And they'll sell it to you. In fact, they even put their chairman in an iPad in their annual report. That's what brave leaders do. The point is, when you want to get technology right in a firm, you're not just fighting legacy systems, you're also fighting legacy thinking. And that is truly hard to do. So technology, could this be your moment to be brave? Meaningful brand difference. This is BrewDog. Everybody knows BrewDog. If you're a hipster, this is your beer. Right? Now they've managed to do something that's outright remarkable in a shrinking category. They've built one of the biggest consumer successes that I've observed in the last couple of years. And they haven't just done a new beer. They've created a cult-like following by the way they brew it, the way it tastes, the way the packaging looks like, the way the advertising looks like, the way they do crowdsourced funding for their campaigns. For the people who love BrewDog, BrewDog isn't just different, it's meaningful. Now, we love building meaningful things, but here is the thing. Every year, Kantar publishes a report. It's called Brand Z. And what they're doing is they're valuing brands. They're looking at the value of brands. And BrewDog has already made it into the top 100 of the most valuable brands in the UK. And in fact, they're edging towards the top 50. That is what meaningful differentiation can do. The question is, could this be your moment? Let's take effectiveness. Great new report just out from the Financial Times and the IPA. You should definitely read it. It's really, really good. And they looked at media effectiveness. And they looked at what is the evidence that we have for the effectiveness of media. Those are average numbers. That's roughly how this looks like. And then they looked at what executives think is effective. Now, these are the numbers. Now, most executives know more about astrology than they know about media. So what do? Right? If your boss says, we're not going to do social media, it's voodoo, it's nonsense, we're not going to touch it, right? And you know it's wrong. What do you do when your social media team is excited and shows everybody cost per click numbers, which in an age of click bots is borderline unprofessional? And you know it. What do? What do you do when your CEO takes to CNBC and says, we're going to put all the money in social media, and you know that's wrong? By the way, Kasper Rohrstedt otherwise is a really great CEO, and he learned his lesson, right? Others is pulling back, they know it was stupid. So media effectiveness, could this be your moment to be brave? Communication. Everybody knows the iconic Direct Line campaign. The customer insight behind it was really simple. What do customers want when there's a problem? They want their insurance to fix it. So why not use the fixer from Pulp Fiction as a character? Right? Very clear customer insight works. Now, we would all agree that Mark Evans and Christy Shivers have been quite brave using a character associated with deaths in insurance advertising. But that's no news. You know what was really brave? Running this campaign against the explicit advice of their own CEO. That was brave. You know this. Relevant campaigns perform well. But the really great communication campaigns are relevant and off the chart memorable. And that works. The question is, could this be your moment? Could powerful, relevant creativity be your moment? Okay, here's a question. Why don't the best ideas always make it to the top? The reason is simple. The reason is fear. I know a lot of people who have great ideas who tell me, you know, this is awesome, we could do this, people love it, but I'm not going to put it forward because my boss will hate it, or because the other departments don't like it, or we tried 10 times and we look stupid. Fear is one of the biggest issues that you have to deal with if you want to be brave. I have an idea for you. Just imagine you enter a room, and as you stand inside, all of a sudden, just above the bed, you discover this spider. This is a Sydney funnel web spider. They are aggressive, and their poison can kill you in about 15 minutes. So what do? Do you get closer and examine it, or do you just carefully go back and run to safety? What would you do? Picture the same situation. Now you realize that in the bed under the spider is a sleeping baby. What would you do now? Get closer and get the baby, or run? Bravery is purpose minus fear. And you can work on your fear. You can learn to like the spiders and don't find them threatening anymore. But you can also work on your purpose and just go in there and get the baby. And the same is true for now. When you go home after this conference, you heard all these brave people, you heard all these wonderful things. There's a choice you can make. You can continue to tick along, do your thing, fit in, take it easy. Or you could choose to pick something you really care about, up your purpose. When the moment is right, be brave and take action. And I think Mia Hamm, the famous football player, summarized it really, really well. I'm building a fire, and every day I train, I add more fuel. Just at the right moment, I light the match. I hope you will find your moment to be brave. I hope you will. Thank you.